In this lesson, we're going to retopo the handle of the weapon. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with retopoing the handle portion of the weapon. To get started with this, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we're under Polydraw and Extend, and I'm going to hold down Control and Shift, and then left click and drag out this loop right here. And that's going to pull out these points that I can now start to snap and create the shape of my handle here. Now the handle is a very distinct shape. There are some high points and some lower points on this, so I'll make sure that I get all of that out there. And let's go ahead and hold down Control and Shift again on that loop, and let's pull that out. And then I'm going to hold Control Alt Shift, and I'm going to put those points right back up into here. Okay. Trying to redistribute those points, try to get it to come out nice and even there. And then this last point right here. Okay, now a couple of issues that I have with this is whenever I pulled that out, we've got some polygons that are not attaching here. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and target weld. Make sure that we're under vertex mode though. I'm going to target weld from here to here, and that's going to create a triangle, and I'm okay with that. And we're going to go from here to there. Down here on this bottom portion here, this one's going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to go ahead and target weld both of those as triangles. And it's okay to do that. It's not a big issue. It's a non-deforming weapon. Okay, so triangles are okay. They're not a big issue. So let's go ahead and go back to Extend, and let's kind of pull these points around a little bit. And then now that everything is there, what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to drag out from those corners and start creating these new polygons, okay, for the outside edge here. Let me go ahead and pull these points right onto that edge of that handle there. And that should help with getting those polygons again. So hold down Alt, pull that one out there, and then Alt again. And again, I'm going back and forth. I'm holding down Alt to pull out the polygon, then Control Shift Alt to move the vertices. Okay, and so moving the vertices just to make sure that each vertex is set to a precise offset that we have there. Now with this, let's go ahead and hold down Control Alt and bridge from here to there. Okay, so that way we get this new polygon here. Okay, that looks good. Happy with that. It does kind of cut off a little bit of that handle. That might be a little too much. We may need to add in a segment here. So to do that, let's go ahead and select these two edges right here. And I'm going to do Connect and just hit OK on that. Let's go to vertex mode, and let's go to Polydraw and Extend, and we should have a vertex right here that we can just grab a hold of right there, and then also right here. And that'll kind of help. We can actually take this point here and pull that up a little bit and just kind of spread that polygon out. Okay. Alright, so one thing to remember whenever you are creating the model for your low resolution geometry, you want to make sure that you have the geometry there to support your detail. So getting it as close as possible to the high resolution mesh as possible, even if that means adding in an extra loop here and there. Okay. Alright, so let's continue on with this. I'm going to go ahead and start right down here, and I'm just going to hold down Shift and drag that out. And I'm going to drag this out several times because I'm going to need several polygons in here. They're going to get a little bit larger as we go on, but this should give me plenty of room. And I'm just getting this started here. Hold Shift, drag out that edge, and continue to drag this out. Now coming across this diamond pattern, you want to be careful on that because you can either go really low or you can be right on top. So you want to try and get on top as much as possible. And then we'll put one here, and then one more here. And then we'll do one more across the back. And then we'll just hold down Control Alt Shift. And then we'll just kind of pull these points around here. And I may actually pull this one back a little. And then hold Shift, drag that one there. Awesome. So just trying to get this laid out. Let's go to our left view. Kind of straighten these up a little bit. So pull these points down. Actually, you know what? Let's go a little bit above that there. There we go. And let's put that in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now let's hold down Alt and let's start just pulling out these polygons and just getting those on our geometry. And again, holding down Control Alt and Shift to pull those vertices back and get those to snap to the surface a little bit better. Okay, and then just continue across the back here. And just a couple more. Now we're going to realign that again, so I'm not really worried about the center line. I just want to get it close. And then just pull in these points, trying to get that curvature in there. Just want to be able to support that detail that's in there. And I was taking a look at that back vertex. I thought I saw an extra one, but that's good. All right, so now we could go ahead and just continue holding Alt and dragging those up, but I'm going to go ahead and make this go a little faster. Let's hold down Shift and Control, and let's pull this loop up to right about there. And then all I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that I get the polygons in place first, and then I'll just pull the vertices around. Go above the handle, or above that detail there. Oops. Make sure I don't create anything extra. Okay, and then let's go ahead and take this edge here, pull that up. And then just kind of redistribute those vertices. That goes along that corner there, and this goes right here along the back. All right, very good. Let's take a look at our left view really quickly. I just want to make sure that my topology looks nice and neat. I want these nice swooping lines that come down. Just making sure that my lines going across are fairly straight and going with the flow of the geometry. I think I'm looking good so far. Okay. And then finally we have this edge here. Let's hold down Control Alt and let's bridge that across there. But then let's start target welding those edges so that way we don't forget those. We don't have any holes in our geometry. Just checking around that vertex, making sure that there's no multiple vertices there. And then let's go ahead and let's go to PolyDraw Extend. And then we'll hold down Shift. We'll drag this one up one time and then hold Control Alt and bridge to there. Okay. And then from here, what I want to do is I want to make this into a triangle. So I'm going to right click and target weld here to here. And then go back to the Extend. And then let's start taking these points here, holding down Alt and just dragging out new polygons. Okay. and then hold down. Let's also make this a triangle. So right click, target weld, triangle, and then extend. Go ahead and put that one back into position there. Control Alt across there, and then Control Shift Alt to move the vertices back into position. Alright, so now let's do this. Let's hold down. Well, it looks like we may have a few too many vertices to go into the handle that we've created here. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this as close as possible. Let's hold down Control Alt and go from here to here, so that way we know we have that polygon there. And let's do this. Hold down Alt. I'm going to drag this out. And I'm going to continue on, and we'll wait until we get up to that area to start thinking about how we're going to turn those and get those into position. There we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do at this point, getting all of this to match up. Hold down Control Alt, go from here to here. That's a triangle there. That's okay. But then I'm going to go ahead and hold down Alt, bridge from there to there. And that for me is just a little too large of a span there to try and get that to go. We may have to split this edge right here across the middle. But really, I don't need that extra geometry. So here's one of those points where we need to make a decision on how we're going to get this to go into the rest of our geometry. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take one of these polygons and turn it to where it creates a loop off in this direction, then we can just bridge across from here. So we'll talk about how to overcome this issue in our next lesson.